I've got Frances Bentley here with me today, and Frances is a very special person in Slimpod community terms. Frances has lost weight, but she's kept it off for 10 years now. And well, you did you start Slimpod 10 years ago and you've kept the weight off since, or you've kept it off for 10 years, Francis? Tell me what way round was that?
It all started for me is the weight was coming on and I was losing control. And I think I did it as a protective thing because of the childhood trauma and everything that I went through. It shows up in different ways. When you're born into that, when your parents are cruel, you don't actually fall out of love with them, you fall out of love with yourself. And you start like you're in this space where, and I think at that time I was in my 50s and the weight was just coming on. So my mother-in-law bought me your course, the discs. And people said to me, "Aren't you offended? Does she think you're fat?" I went, "Hey, unfortunately, she's right."
Yes. And at that time, it was a CD system,
It was.
which is quite amazing to think back that time. That was 12 years ago.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Then you started doing the program, and you lost 3.5 stone, didn't you?
Yeah, I've literally, and what it was, I think, because of the work I do, I was really interested in the way you speak to the brain, because our brain is so important of all of this. Mine was the trauma that was there. So it's, if you don't deal with that, you're not going to deal, if you don't deal with the root cause of why you're doing it. So because your program speaks to the brain, I didn't lose weight straight away, but what it started to do was program me to make better choices. So it took me a while to lose the weight, but it definitely stopped me putting any on.
Yeah.
And it started, I liken it to, because I've been thinking to this, is that I was lost. I was like a wild horse, not knowing where to go, what to do. And all of a sudden somebody lassoed me and went, "Come on, this direction." And so it's a lifestyle choice. It's not a quick fit, and I can sit here now with the work that I've done thinking, I feel fabulous. I think I'm 61 and 62 New Year's Day, and I feel great. And when I seen you, and I thought Pub was such a big part of that journey of me going to the right place. So I'd say it's probably only the last 4 years, where 6 years probably, where the weight has actually come off.
Right.
And even now it's coming off. But what it did for me was start to program me in the right direction.
Yeah.
And
Because
it
you
was
had
making,
Yeah, you had such a lot of I suppose baggage. It was,
mm,
all the emotional stuff. And I should say that quite an extraordinary thing happened. I was speaking at an event about my book, and I was talking about it, and then somebody said, "But do you keep the weight off?" And Francis pipes up, "Yes, I was doing it 10 years ago and I've kept the weight off." And I
yeah.
was just stunned. I couldn't believe that somebody in the audience was a slim podder, and she'd kept the weight off for so long. And
Yeah, yeah.
and just at that point it was amazing.
Mm.
Your history was really, or your relationship with food was really um, emotionally disturbed very, very early in life, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. I won't go too deep because obviously look, I don't want to traumatize any listeners or anything like that. But I was the first battered baby ever publicised in England. So before I was 3 months old, my injuries were horrific. It went to Crown Court and got thrown out through lack of evidence because nobody had ever seen him hit me. And they blamed my mum and dad because they didn't know and sent me back. And we actually didn't leave till I was 13. So that trauma response that I was in, if my dad had been really violent, he'd buy sweets, chocolate, da 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 da. And even when we did something good, every reward was food, sweet, chocolate. And I had a trauma attachment to food. So, why my weight loss took a bit longer and why I'm so happy that Slimpod put the brakes on for me is because I was coming from a really traumatized place. And I didn't know that. When you've been born into it, trauma's your reality. So I
Yeah,
didn't know I was in trauma response, so you are a gift. And what Slim Pod did for me, pointing me in the right direction, was a man to sit in your company that day and listen to you talk and how much you want to give and how much you support women. Like, I wanted you to know the impact that you had on my life. It was amazing. And all these steps point you into the direction that you go, now I have a healthy relationship with food, a healthy size, and all that. And I dress the way I want to dress and all that, but mainly my internal universe, my world is strong and it's confident of who I am and how I turn up. And definitely Slim Pod and what you produced was a big part of that and pointing me in the right direction. Definitely.
amazing. It just, I mean, did you know that when you started the program? Did you know you had to do that, or was it just that you were overweight and you felt that
Mm.
you had a difficult relationship with food? What was the mindset when you started?
I nearly broke. And I remember feeling lost. And my daughter wrote a beautiful poem for my book launch. She put in there, part of it was, don't worry, the bones will heal. It's a trauma that will catch up with her one day. And then at the end, she put, you see, the childhood she deserved, she gave to me. And I said, so that's made my life worth living. The fact you wrote that poem is just absolutely beautiful. So I didn't know I was broken. I just felt lost because I didn't know what the other side looked like. So I think I started about 30 years ago, going to a Buddhist temple, learning how to meditate. And then I did all these modalities, healing, Reiki, energy, all of this that took me to a place where I started to really understand the mind. And then as I've gone, I trained as a coach 25 years ago, not to be a coach at the time, but just to understand life better and me better and all of this. And that's when I mean, I didn't even see yours. My mother-in-law bought it for
Mm.
me. I mean, when you start on a path, don't people come out the woodwork that you didn't even,
Yeah, no, it's oh my goodness, it's very true.
yeah.
Certainly for me, without a shadow of a doubt. And then
Mm,
what started changing your relationship with food? How did that kind of transpire? What did you start? I mean, it's a long time ago now, and I'm
mm,
asking you
mm,
to remember the first few
mm.
days, but
Yeah.
or the first week.
Luckily, I've got a good memory. I don't
Oh,
remember names, but I've got a good memory for things like that. I remember listening to it and it was a bit of a ritual. So initially, it started to organize my process more. It gave me that. Then I remember getting up one morning and only having one piece of bread with like an open sandwich rather than a full cheese and ham toasty and all this. And then my portion size, I think, is the thing that hit me the most, started to get less. And you know what I said? I went, oh, I don't know what's happening to me, but I don't seem quite as hungry. And then I sat there and went, about a week or so later, I thought, I'm listening to these, it's working. I haven't just got up one morning and made better decisions. It's working on my head. So I remember not really giving you the what would you say, the
the wins.
acknowledgement.
The wins
Thinking
to
I've just
start with. That's what a lot of people do. I saw
mm,
something today saying, is this placebo? Or the
yes.
placebo effect? Because I'm not craving. And I've only been doing it 2 days. And so it's just fascinating,
Yes.
how
Yeah.
it kind of, and it's different for everybody. Um,
Yes, of
and
course.
so how did it then get underneath? How did the emotional eating start to abate?
It took a long time for me to really realise what it was,
Okay.
that attachment to it. Um, because when you're born into that level of education, that level of abuse, you're just in survival mode. So I
Yeah.
never gave anything that much thought. I mean, I'd gone off traveling, I'd done this, and thankfully I've had an amazing life. What happened with my dad just drove me to learn more, to value myself more, and not repeat patterns later on with my
Yeah.
daughter and all of this. And I think it's that with food, it's not repeating the patterns.
Exactly that.
Yeah. And that's
Exactly
what
that.
it started to reprogram my brain, to be honest, without me really realizing it until probably way down the line. And I looked at how come I'm feeling the way I am and I feel so much better. And then when I found like about you and I thought, God, Slim Pod was such a big part of my journey. So, sometimes you don't always see it happening, but if you commit to the system and you listen to it, just let it do what it's going to do. Even if you think it's not working, just do it because it is. It's speaking in your brain. So, it probably sounds a little bit over the top, but I'm just going to share it. I have a lovely life, and writing my book has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. If I never sold a copy, the peace it's given me inside is amazing. But it didn't just happen like that. It's been years of making the right decisions for me. And that's what Slimpod, me deciding to invest in me the time and do it was the start of my journey of that really living my authentic true life.
Amazing.
And, yeah, I was just, if you're out there and you're on it and you think, all you need to do is commit to listen to it. Commit to turn up for yourself. Make the contract with yourself. You're worth it. And that's now how I get up every morning is what value can I give to that day and how much can I love myself? Because the
Mhm.
more I'm in a good place, the more I give to everybody else is at a higher value. So it's just choosing love for yourself. And that starts with making right choices and turning up for yourself each day. And that's
Yeah.
what Slim Pod did for me. I turned up, lay down each night with it on. So, but it's consistency and just allowing the process. And
It is, and you're not. I mean, what you said about self-love, that is a section of my book because it is so important.
mm,
Because people do use food in all sorts of ways, and it is also sometimes a form of self-harm, as well as reward or comfort or alleviating boredom. Food is just used in so many ways that
mm,
isn't about
mm,
hunger. And so yeah, it totally is, but it's just fabulous to
mm.
hear your
I
story and
love
your
that what
book.
you just said though. I love that what you just said, and I've read it is that in your mind and turning up for yourself, being that committed that we eat because of this relationship. And I think, from 0 to 7 years old, we just absorb everything around us. So if you think of what had happened to me up until 7, that my relationship with food was cooked.
Yeah,
So no wonder I took a long time to really get to where I am now. But it's turning up, making the choices, and understanding that sometimes you need help and support. And I think that with you and Slimpod and being on there is the help and support that you can have. That you are enough and you should invest in yourself. My dad's behaviour wasn't mine to keep, and my eating habits were given to me when I couldn't make choices. That was in there. So now, as I've got older and I can make choices, I choose things to help me support myself in those choices because it's still ongoing. You're programming yourself all the time to make better choices. So I need to get my this, that, and stuff. I thought the other day I've been reading the book and everything. I thought, I'm going to do it again just to keep in that space and
yeah. It's
just
funny. It's funny you saying disc out because now, of course, it's download.
Downloaded,
And
showing my age.
it's just very funny. Now it's an audio recording on a download that people use on their phones, believe it or not.
Oh my God. I know a couple of my friends have got on there and downloaded, and there's videos and everything now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, because obviously I've been talking about it since I met you, and I was with Penny and all that, and they all like said, yeah, we're getting on it. And I think, well, that's good because it helps with every choice.
Yeah,
I know yours is dairy food, but once you take control of one element of your life,
yeah,
what you're saying to yourself is you're worthy and I'm looking after you. So then you start turning up in other areas of your life in a better frame of mind.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Amazing. Honestly, it's just been fabulous chatting with you because
oh,
it's the whole, it's the real deal. It's the whole picture of 10 years of mindset change, but also
yes,
the body responding.
mm,
Because what you've done, what size were you when you started?
18
Right.
plus, really. I remember having, I could put 18 trousers on, but I had to have an elasticated waistband.
And now you're a size 10 or something, aren't you?
Yeah, 10 to 12,
Yeah.
depends on what they are,
Amazing.
10 to 12, yeah.
But you've been that size now consistently for a while.
For a long time, yeah, and it started to come down because I even remember like thinking, oh God, the next size is a 20 and all of this. And it wasn't so much I know we all want to look our best. I still looked fabulous, by the way, just saying. But it's the health implications,
Yeah.
it is the and also what I was thinking about our conversation. I was always really skinny, always right up till I suppose 40. I remember I was still really skinny, a size 8. I could eat what I liked. Then all of a sudden, a few bad because relationship wise, I didn't build good relationships. I had I attracted the wrong type of men that couldn't be faithful and all of this sort of thing. So I think the weight was like a protection. It was like I just started eating. And also, I didn't change my diet. And I don't know whether this is true or not, but they say if you eat the same every decade, you'll put a stone on every decade. I don't know whether that's true, but it's something that I read. And I never changed the way I eat. I could always eat everything. So I carried on eating everything, but my body couldn't deal with everything I was putting in.
Yeah.
And also the weight for me, when I look back now, was like a safety blanket where relationships were concerned as well. I
Right.
felt
Oh,
safe with that
fascinating.
weight around me.
Right. So it was just, I mean, the last 20 years or so that you put on the weight.
Mm, mm.
Gosh.
I was tiny. I was looking for some
Wow.
photographs for you the other day. I'll have to send them over. I was looking, thinking, oh my gosh, look. But it's about how you feel inside about yourself,
Mm.
and how you turn up somewhere. If whatever you're feeling inside is stopping you being you, and stopping you turning up in spaces, whether it's family parties, what if it's stopping you going out the door, then you need to invest, you need to look after yourself because, we can still get out and interact and add value every day as long as we find that we can add value. And it starts by adding value to yourself. What's making you upset? And mine was my weight. And when I had my 60th birthday 18 months ago, I thought, right, if I'm lucky enough to live to 70, what do I not want to be repeating over this next decade? Write the book. Write the book. My auntie sent me a newspaper cutting. My mum died just over 10 years ago. And the newspaper cutting was from 1964. And it named me, my mum and dad, and some of the injuries and the address, because it was the first one to go to Crown Court. Everything was in the newspaper. And even though I'd always known, actually reading it like that made me think, oh my God. So now I look back at the woman that put weight on and the woman is, and I'm so proud of myself for committing to things that would make me be me now and be a better mom and be this, that, and the other and move forward. So if I said being on here with you, it's just said, well, stick with it.
Mhm.
Whatever weight is comfortable for you, it's
Yeah.
comfortable for you. I'm a size 10 to 12. I don't want to be a size 8. You
Mm.
know, I'm happy at the weight I am. Whatever size is happy for you, just to be able to keep there, control it, and make better choices for yourself.
Yeah.
Gonna make you feel better, hasn't it?
So what would you say to a slim podder who was literally starting their journey, say in the first 10 days?
Hmm.
What would your advice be as the sage, I'm not going to say old owl, the sage owl, and up there in the tree, who's been there, done it,
Yeah.
and and still kept the weight off 10 years later. What would you say to that person?
I would say turn up for yourself, consistency, and believe in the process because your mind has been used to behaving a certain way and it wants you to continue behaving that way. What you do is start speaking to your brain and say, no, come on, this is how I felt it did for me. God, this is how you really want to go. So believe in the process, turn up for yourself. And when there comes a choice between you doing that or something else, for that moment in time, listen to your downloads now because it's your commitment to yourself and your body will feel. There's an exercise that we do. A lot of people probably know it. If you put your arm out and you think of something sad, you can push your arm down like that really easily. Have you seen it? And
Yes.
then there's another one where say, think of something happy and you can't
Yeah.
move your arm. That's how quick negative thoughts impact your body. So just keep on telling yourself you're worth it. You're just then sending positive messages to your body. And you are worth it. Really, I'm going to talk to you now. You are worth it. We are worth it. Yeah, we really are. We have a right to walk this earth being who we're meant to be. And we have to make little steps towards that. So,
So I'm guessing, I mean, this is obviously um at work. Obviously the slim pod process helps with the whole, with the self-worth stuff,
mm,
feeling, because that's part of what it is. But I'm guessing because of what you went through as a child, you had
mm,
done so much work on that as well because of the way
mm.
you're talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think I didn't know. I started when I nearly broke. So I went to
Wow.
a, a, a Buddhist temple and learned to meditate. Then I did Reiki, so I did all these modalities just as a way of life. Then I
Right.
trained as a coach as a way of life. Um, but then COVID hit, and what I was doing as a profession just stopped overnight. And I thought, do I go back to that or do I follow my passion? So I retrained during COVID to what all the modality, or everything that's there now. I trained, as a coach and that, and it impacts. I mean, my daughter's 34. She's never been smacked. She only knows love. She really turns up. She's happy being Jessica. And my grandson is the same. He started school this September, and he walked in all confident. So when we make choices for ourselves, better choices for ourselves, it heals generations forward.
Yeah.
Because how we talk to ourselves and how we turn up for ourselves impacts the people around us
Yeah.
and our families. So to
Absolutely.
me, something like I know I'm a bit gushy, but it was such a big part of my life and such turned me in the right direction. So, thank you.
Oh, no, honestly. Thank you for coming and sharing your story, because it's only, I really feel, that it was fate meeting you that day.
Wasn't
Um,
it?
Seriously, I just honestly, quite extraordinary.
Yeah,
And you just coming to have this chat is really, really amazing because you're going to be helping so many people as a result as well,
yeah.
and giving them hope and and guidance like a little mentor in their head.
No, no, thank you. And if I can, if anybody watches this and feels inspired to stick with it, then thank you for giving me this space to support and hopefully inspire others to make the better choices for
You're
themselves.
you're really welcome. Thank you, Frances. It's just been fantastic. Thank you.
Pleasure, thank you.